Namaskar. This is Akhilesh Bhargava. Welcome to Tit-bits on Business and Finance with me. The discovery of over rupees 250 crores of unaccounted assets, including cash of almost 200 crore rupees, 23 kilos of gold bars, 250 kilos of silver, 600 kilos of sandalwood oil worth rupees 6 crores, and papers of properties owned in Dubai from an unknown, but now of course very well known Kanpur-based gutka and perfume manufacturer. That action started very innocuously, completely unaware perhaps that it will lead to the biggest ever such seizure in India. It all began with the Gujarat unit of the GST intelligence wing intercepting 4 trucks carrying gutka and tobacco at Ahmedabad. The trucks belonged to a Kanpur-based road transport company called Ganpati Road Carriers, and they were carrying goods under 200 fake GST invoices of Shikhar Gutka, a Kanpur-based gutka firm. The fake invoices clearly showed GST evasion, and reports say that the firm readily accepted and paid GST of rupees 3.09 crores during the course of this action itself. The preliminary inquiries by the GST intelligence unit, however, led it to one of the partners of Shikhar Gutka, a firm called Odochem Industries, whose registered office happened to be the residence of one of its partners, one Mr. Piyush Jain. The tax evasion by now looked much bigger than what it was made to appear in the beginning to this raiding team, and thus a coordinated search or a raid was conducted by the investigation teams of the GST department and of the income tax departments at 11 premises of Piyush Jain, consisting of his factory, his office, his cold storage, his showroom, his residence, and his petrol pump, which soon led to the stunning discovery and seizure of massive amount of unaccounted and undisclosed assets generated through tax evasion. In his initial statements, the low-profile and secretive Piyush Jain claimed that the huge cash etc. represented sales proceeds of 400 kilos of his ancestral gold. But with the massive incriminating evidence stacked up against him, he soon admitted that the undisclosed assets represented his gains from tax evasion, evasion of income tax, as well as evasion of GST. It was built over 20 years of such dubious operations conducted by him. While the investigation continues and Piyush Jain has been sent to jail for 14 days of judicial custody, the GST department says that out of the amount seized, 52 crore rupees is due to it by way of tax, by way of interest and penalty. With the DRI, which is the Department of Revenue Intelligence, also investigating the case because the gold found at his premises has had foreign markings on them. To us, it is too early in the day to quantify and conclude the offences and liabilities of Piyush Jain under various laws, and they will all apply to him. The discovery of such undisclosed assets came as a huge surprise to the neighbors, relatives, and business associates of Piyush Jain, since he generally moved around on an old Bajaj Priya scooter, and his 2 cars included an old Maruti hatchback and an outdated Toyota Collis. With this kind of humongous wealth that he has, he could have easily afforded an entire fleet of Rolls Royces and Bentleys. He was known to wear the most ordinary clothes, and he would also wear rubber chappals even when he attended marriages and social functions. All this was certainly a very well rehearsed and crafted facade by him to stealthily hide his business and to stealthily hide the wealth that he had generated. Piyush Jain happens to be a postgraduate in chemistry from Kanpur University. He started his career as a salesman in a showroom in Mumbai, and he soon got into the perfume business, which was handed over to him by his father, with perfume compounds for soaps and detergents to start with. And then he got into the lucrative activity of pan masala and gutka business. This raid and its findings show that his business had expanded considerably, but it remained under the radar due to his very stealthy and secretive mode of functioning. To us, it is yet amazing and it is unbelievable that an ordinary perfume and gutka manufacturer could go undisclosed by the system so long, despite the extensive banking and revenue surveillance systems of the government, which capture almost every data of our banking and business transactions on a day-to-day basis. Despite such an extensive system, this man's dubious activities at such a large scale continued for so long. The fact that the tobacco gutka business is inherently illegal also means that he operated in a business environment in an ecosystem where the end-to-end dealings were conducted in cash in order to avoid the law. Perhaps that was another compulsion why he was conducting his business entirely in cash, and that came across in the over 200 crores of cash seized from him. With the entire seizure and operations being based at Kanpur, which is in the pole-bound state of Uttar Pradesh, it led to a fierce political slugfest at the highest levels, with each party trading sharp and direct accusations against each other. While speaking at the inauguration of the Kanpur Metro, Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi linked the jailed perfume manufacturer and his mountain of cash to the Samajwadi Party, the main political opponent of the BJP in Uttar Pradesh. He said that boxes filled with notes have come out. He says, I was thinking that they, which is Samajwadi Party, will say that this was also done by us, which is the BJP. He says that the people of Kanpur understand business and trade well. According to him, before 2017, the perfume of corruption, as he calls it, that they had sprinkled all over UP, which is referring to Samajwadi Party, to him is now there for everyone to see. But now he says they are sitting with their mouths shut. Prime Minister Modi says that the Samajwadi Party is not coming forward to take credit for the mountain of cash notes seen by the entire country. He concludes and says that this is their, which is Samajwadi Party's achievement, and it is their reality. The Home Minister Shri Amit Shah, while addressing a public rally in UP, also took a political potshot, and he said that recently a perfume businessman from Samajwadi Party was caught. Akhilesh ji, he says, is squirming, asking why we conducted the raids. Rupees 250 crores was seized from this, that is Piyush Jain's house. He says, Akhilesh ji, where did the money come from? Other BJP leaders also alleged that Piyush Jain had launched his Samajwadi Attar brand of perfume with the support and help of Akhilesh Yadav. So here are direct political accusations being made. The Samajwadi Supremo hit back. Akhilesh Yadav said that the BJP had mixed his party's leader Pushpraj Jain with Piyush Jain and that it had raided its own businessman by mistake. Samajwadi Party leaders claim that the call record of Piyush Jain show that several BJP leaders were in touch with him. With the entire matter taking more of political overtones than a tax evasion case, street rumors are rife on both sides of the table, with some saying that the seized money is the BJP's booty, while others say that it actually belongs to the Samajwadi Party. It is very apparent from the findings that Piyush Jain operated in the business environment and ecosystem of black money, where his entire range of activities, beginning from purchases and ending with sales, and also involving all the expenses that he incurred to conduct his business, were incurred in cash with no disclosures made in the tax returns, whether in the GST returns or whether in the income tax returns. It is surprising how we managed to evade the government's surveillance for so long, and one wonders whether he actually had some big godfather up in the system. After all, this kind of seizure is too big and some big wigs could be involved. It will obviously lead to his penalty and prosecution under several laws, which include Income Tax Act, the GST law, Black Money Act, Benami Act, Customs Act, the Prevention of Money Laundering Act, and the aggregate tax, interest and penalty, etc. under all these laws that he will be subjected to will far exceed the amount seized at the moment. For us, since the politicians have jumped into this saga, giving it political undertones and accusations in a poll-bound state, it raises an interesting question, which is, the popular perception is that it is the political parties that sit on top of the corruption pyramid of India, with thousands of crores of bribes and payoffs being reportedly transacted in the country with them. Election funding and post-election horse trading itself are said to involve tons of black money, unaccounted money of this sort. Then why is it that they are not caught in India red-handed like Piyush Jain and others are caught? And why is it that the biggest finding and seizure of black money in India ever is from an ordinary trader and businessman and not from the premises of a Neta or from a political party? Your guess in this regard will be as good as mine, but the reasons for that could be that, first of all, a Neta from the ruling party, of course, gets protected by those in power, and therefore he does not get subjected to this kind of a raid. The second is that Netas store their assets under Benami deals, and thus, even if raided, they have little in their name to answer. Their funds are often parked with large business houses, and thus the accountability and answerability is not in their part. The third reason, as we conjecture, is that Netas avoid storing large sums of money at a single place, and thus no such large sum can be found. The next is that informants are not willing to be whistleblowers against Netas out of sheer fear, and perhaps so is the case with Babus, as we would guess. Their ill-gotten gains are popularly parked in real estate, where cash dealings have been known to be rampant and very common. They manage to launder their money while in power and thus give it a clean chit. And finally, since they are generally in the limelight, they tend to be very careful and are carefully guided by their consultants. This to us perhaps explains why we do not see this kind of an action happening on a Neta or on a political party. The moot question, however, is that would Piyush Jain have been raided or spared if he was a Neta? This debate today tends to be very acrimonious, of course, for very obvious reasons. As far as we are concerned, of course, tax evasion is not acceptable. It is illegal. It is a crime. But it would have been better for India that apart from a Piyush Jain, even politicians were caught with this kind of booties that they have gathered over the years. That would probably mean a cleaner India that we aspire for. This is Akhilesh Bhargava signing off till we meet again. Namaskar.